Hey guys, today we're looking at Open Water for this shark review. Not necessarily a shark movie, but sharks are in it. And it's one of the most depressing movies I've ever seen. So, the plot of Open Water is that there is this couple who's really busy with work or whatever, and they're just going out on a vacation. They're just going scuba diving for a vacation. And well, through some means, the boat ends up leaving without them, and they get stranded in the open water. The story at first, I was like, man, this is just boring and stupid. Then it really just kind of grows on you, and they spend like the entire movie out in the water, and you really begin to understand just how fucked up this entire premise is. It's apparently based off a true story. It says that, but like, that's just fucked up and horrible. Like, don't get me wrong, I think the premise and the story in the movie's good, but it's just so messed up. Like, what a terrible thing to happen. Like, don't get me wrong, the plot is good. Them getting stranded out in the water, just like, what the fuck? It's good, but it is just oof. Big Roblox oof. So this brings me to the next part of these shark reviews, which is the shark screen time. But in terms of screen time with the sharks, it's really not that applicable in this movie because there are no sharks really in it at all until the very end. But you gotta remember, this isn't a shark movie. Like, this movie is not really about sharks. Sharks just get involved near the end. So I'm kind of at a crossroads here. Do I slam the movie for not having sharks, or do I understand that it's not a shark movie and it just happens to have sharks in it? I'm gonna go with the latter. It's not really a shark movie, but sharks are in it. So I'm gonna have to just give it a pass. I'm not saying it's good or great, it's just getting a pass. The sharks in this movie, though, are really realistic looking. Like, they aren't the crazy kind of sharks that I'm used to seeing. Like, they're really realistic looking, and they act realistic. Like, they really aren't even into going after people, but they're in it. So this is about to sound real bad, but there's actually no shark kills in the movie, technically speaking. And well, I would normally like totally slam a movie for something like this. It's like I said earlier, this is not a shark movie. It's just a movie with sharks. The movie is really about the couple being out in open water stranded. And with that said, I'm not going to slam it, but I gotta say I wasn't exactly happy about it. The CGI, I'm not really even sure if it's CGI animation or what. I mean, the sharks in this movie look pretty damn real. So they either use practical effects, they use stock footage, which I can kind of doubt, or they got real sharks, which I really doubt. But I will say that the sharks that are in the movie look really good, actually. They look better than most shark movies that are released nowadays. So I'm going to guess some practical effects were used. And you know, it's better than what we honestly get nowadays. So I will say that the sharks, when they are in the movie, which isn't very often, they look pretty awesome. I just wish they got to kill some people or something. So, the acting is where the movie actually kind of excels. Usually the acting in these movies is pretty terrible, but this was not the case. The beginning of the movie, the acting I felt was just kind of basic, boring, and not that good. The couple wasn't really the greatest, and I didn't really like them a lot. Any of the other people that talk in this movie are just, no, they're just borderline bad, nowhere near as good. But at the end of the movie, you're really rooting for the couple, and they're actually really good. They sell the idea of them being trapped out in the water pretty good, and I gotta say the acting was actually good. They really do sell the idea that this is fucked up, and the entire premise is horrible. So I gotta actually say, the acting was pretty good. I mean, I was quite impressed by the end. I mean, they went from me not giving a fuck at all about them to actually rooting for them, caring about them, and just like, damn. And it just really kind of killed my entire mood. Which brings me to the overall. Overall, this is a fucked up movie. Don't get me wrong. This movie is good. It is good, but I cannot recommend this movie to anybody. I cannot recommend it to anybody just because of how upsetting it is, how sad the ending is, and just how sad the entire movie is. Like, it's a sad premise. It progresses sadly. Like, the entire movie is just messed up. Like, it's just upsetting. All of it. The acting was good. The sharks that showed up looked cool. I mean, it wasn't really a shark movie, but I can give it a pass. I mean, it doesn't have the word shark even in the name, so I guess getting mad that it doesn't have sharks isn't really a thing. I mean, it is called Open Water, and they spend the entire movie pretty much in the open water, so it definitely gets a pass. And look, I'm all for serious shark movies. It's just I kind of like happier endings. I'm pretty basic as a human being, I guess, but whatever. Like, yeah, whatever. With all that said, on the shark scale, I'm gonna have to give this movie a 4 out of 5. Like, don't get me wrong, the movie's great. The movie is great. It's just, I can't recommend it. It's just so depressing. And the only reason it doesn't get a 5 is because this is the shark scale, and there's like no sharks in it, and no shark kills, but it isn't a shark movie. It's open water. It's not a shark movie. So, yeah. This will probably be one of the only times, if the only time ever, where I'm like, oh, the sharks aren't in the movie, but it's still a good movie. So yeah, I don't recommend this one. It's really depressing. Yeah, it's kind of killed my mood now. I think I'm gonna go do something else. So I'll see you guys later.